Hi, I'm Chris Roselli.
And I'm Anna Magidson. Welcome to Western Window, a show made for you by students at Western Washington University.
This time on Western Window, we'll find out more about unusual stress relief on campus.
We'll learn about a unique opportunity that takes middle schoolers into the great outdoors and an innovative program that's providing help to community members.
So stay with us as we explore our world through Western Window. Extending their lessons beyond their classrooms, local middle school students head outdoors for hands-on lessons in ecology, watershed science, and civic engagement, all taught by Huxley College environmental education students.
We've got an animal that's big enough to see with your naked eye, and an animal that doesn't have a backbone. Put those together, we've got some pretty cool creatures.
The outdoor school is done with 6th graders from Whatcom Middle School at the Gordon Carter Environmental Learning Center on Lake Whatcom. They learn about phosphorus and eutrophication in Lake Whatcom, stream macro-invertebrates, and they learn about winter wren habitat and old-growth forests. And then at the end of the 2 days, we have a stewardship lesson where the students get to become stakeholders in the Lake Whatcom watershed and discuss solutions to problems with Lake Whatcom water quality.
What this program gives that complements what the kids get in their classroom is quite important. Their classroom science curriculum in 6th grade includes a full unit on ecology and populations that includes 6 different components. It takes several months to teach all of that. So part of the purpose is to give them some lessons that engage them in a hands-on way in doing ecology.
And I think most children, most young people are instinctively environmentalists. I think people are born with biophilia, for love of other species. And we kind of drum it out of people by some of the ways we raise kids and the way our culture works. And I'd like to reawaken that biophilia.
My favorite part about Gordon Carter is getting to see the kids enjoy being outside and learning new things and making connections with what they learn in the lessons.
I think education isn't necessarily just about the names of things, the facts of things. I think a lot of things depend on little small connections that are hard to create when you're sitting in a classroom. What we're doing out here is really place-based. And it's a unique opportunity for a lot of these kids to come outside and to apply maybe scientific or natural history to the place that they're in right now.
I personally believe that all students benefit from classroom outside, especially with science. If they're studying, botany or natural history, those are all outdoor-based activities, and it feels really contrived to put it inside of a box.
We're trying to convey it's everyone's job together to decide how we manage these common resources that we depend on for clean water.
But it has been a little bit of sadness to me that there are the other 2 middle schools, Fairhaven and Shuxon, and Colshan, there's 3 other middle schools that don't get to go do the Gordon Carter site. And they should. I think the program as a whole is working on creating ecologically literate citizens who will make wise decisions about resources and about the places that they live.
So ecological literacy denotes a high level of understanding of how our Earth systems function, because those are our life support systems. One metaphor is the Earth spaceship. We're on a spaceship, we need to know how it works. Ecology provides the operating instructions, and we're all the crew, so we need to know those instructions and what they imply for what the consequences are of different choices we might make.
Everyone has incredible strengths and talents, otherwise we wouldn't be here. And Western's Best Self program is helping students and faculty function at a high level, even in the face of adversity.
So Best Self is based on positive psychology, and positive psychology is the study of what makes us thrive. It's what makes us have that very strong and deep sense of well-being. Two researchers, Christopher Peterson and Martin Seligman, identified 6 virtues and 24 characteristics that people possess who have this strong sense of well-being. And then they took that research and they validated it in over 40 countries. These things are things like hope, gratitude, curiosity, love of learning, bravery, citizenship, teamwork. The beauty with Best Self is that it provides a foundation, a universal foundation that you can apply to math. You can apply to eating better. You can apply to getting involved in that fitness program at the rec center.
Before Best Self, it was kind of felt like a huge project that I was tackling on, and it wasn't as focused. And now with Best Self, I can take one step at a time and really define my goals before I go and change my life. And you can change my life in small ways that really add up over time. And so I've been seeing a lot more self-improvement from using the model.
I think it helps me to understand people, even though at first I may snap to a judgment, but then I think about the way they, what their world might be like and what they're going through, and just understanding that or processing that helps me to appreciate the beauty in all people. So it puts me at ease, And anyway, I feel like those things are all a gift.
Going to Shoreline and then going back to Western, the one thing that's really helped me with the Best Self is improving my academics. I had not gotten A's in a really long time on my exams before. Really made a tremendous difference on my GPA and also my self-confidence, and I really have a lot to thank for the Best Self just because I could look at what I needed to improve on every week, and that really helped me.
Well, I've really appreciated the Best Self model as a way of really reframing how we think about students' abilities and challenges. I had the chance to sit in on Catherine's leadership and facilitation of a Boys in the Boat discussion. And the Boys in the Boat provides such a perfect framework for talking about Best Self, that kind of leadership, being able to overcome difficulties, really pulling from deep inside of you to be your best self.
Quiero hablar hoy de Best Self y cómo me ayuda a mi vida. Para mí, Best Self es como una guía que me ayuda a estresarme. Si estoy estresada, me ayuda a tener relaciones con mí misma y con otros que sean mejores.
Yo también estoy de acuerdo con Odessa. Yo también uso el Best Self como guía para mejorar las situaciones en que me siento estresada.
I've always been looking for tools of ways to connect with students. And a big part of being a good teacher is finding new tools and new ways of doing things. And the Best Self is a great way of giving me more tools in my toolbox for being able to talk to and interact with students. So it gives us a way to interact it gives us a way to interact on the kind of science we're doing, but also to make sure that we have a human connection along at the same time. And Best Self's been very helpful for it.
We are fluid human beings. So Best Self to me is about how we can be the very best we can be, but it's also about humanity. I think if we all practiced our best self, that this world would be a better place.
How does technological innovation drive the entrepreneurial spirit? That was the question posed at the 9th Annual TechTonic Shake, Make, and Innovate Showcase.
This is TechTonic. It's really designed as it started off as a forum for us to sort of just spread the word of what technology was available at Western and who was using it and what we were doing. That was about 9 years ago. Since then, it's grown to be a little bit more than that. And I think what we really try to do now is we try to bring in people from the community, Western alums and people here at Western, to come in and talk about, you know, issues surrounding technology, and they can come here and talk about their startups, they can talk about their Kickstarter, they can talk about apps that they use, productivity, their theories behind stuff, internet security, all sorts of things.
My name is Kyle Rader. I'm a graduate of the computer science program here at Western and a current master's student. And I'm here to represent and talk about Code Lily, Bellingham's first code school.
My name is Paul Widener. I work at the Student Technology Center here in the library. And so one day my dad handed me his old film camera, and that's when I got really excited and interested in figuring out how this worked. Just I was figuring out how other pieces of technology and gadgets all work.
My name is Mary Keene, and I'm from the Foundry. The Foundry is Bellingham's first makerspace, a space for rapid prototyping and creating of all kinds.
My name is Madison Miner. I graduated from Western in 2002. I graduated with a degree in MIS and a minor in computer science. I founded Want Mobile, which is a mobile website development company, in 2010.
My name is Sean Kemp. I'm alumni of the Western Washington University Industrial Design Program, and I run a company called Action Sprout.
We try to get the sort of festival atmosphere. You notice it's loud in here, and that was on purpose. We wanted it to be sort of raucous, it's not a conference. It's sort of almost the opposite of that. It's like, come in, relax, don't feel like it's a big deal. You know, I want to make it as easy as people as possible.
Code Lily is, we're calling it a web development and computer science studio or education studio. The idea is that we want to provide really high quality computer science education that promotes an open and collaborative space to learn. Our goal is to provide a sequence of courses that can take someone from knowing absolutely nothing about computers or how to program computers and take you to an employable state where you could get a job as a web developer or as a computer scientist at a company.
We get a lot of people together talking about stuff. Really, in the long run, I'd love to see Tectonic be someplace where people with different points of view and different approaches to technology come together. We do this kind of thing, but also they leave a little bit behind.
A couple little times to get it smoother. The Foundry is a makerspace. What a makerspace is, it's a collaborative community of people who are sharing their skills, but also has all the equipment required to make whatever idea you have in your head solid. I think a lot of people are really hesitant to even repair their own objects, and things have come to a point where it's not as hard as you think anymore. You don't have to have a college degree in AutoCAD in order to make a file for 3D printing. In fact, you don't even have to spend any money on the modeling software at all. There's many programs and things that are out there that are free, that are open source, that have a really great community online support. Tutorials. The learning curve has really been shortened. So all of those barriers of making things, of inventing, all of those barriers are down now. Everything's very accessible.
60% of all Google searches are done on smartphones. Some of our clients have up to 80% of their traffic coming from smartphones, and most of the websites are built for large screens, and it's difficult to use them on a smartphone because you have to pinch and zoom, and it's just not optimized. It's tough to click with and interact. So Want Mobile has a platform, a unique patent-pending technology that allows us to quickly take a website that was designed for a large desktop screen and make it really easy to use, load fast, and work awesome on a smartphone.
I've always been fascinated by technology. And after I graduated from Western, I went down to Seattle, started my own design company, eventually got sucked into Microsoft, ran the Xbox design project there. I was a creative director, and then eventually made my way to working and supporting the entire Windows brand online. And after I left that, I got involved with nonprofits and using technology to make change, and that kind of evolved into what I'm doing today. I'm excited about it because we help nonprofits use Facebook to better engage with their supporters and make change in the world. It's incredibly powerful to be able to do that and support those people and give them the tools that they need to make their lives just a little bit easier and be more successful at what they're trying to do. But there's definitely something special about Western that kind of breeds that aspect of caring and wanting to do something just a little bit more than getting a job and making $1.
I want people to think about what it is they're making, because really the value of any of it is what you make. think of like what your WordPress is for. I'm writing a book, I'm writing an article, I'm publishing my photos. Those are the kinds of things these tools are for. So my hope in the long run is that we can demystify the sort of weird way we look at technology and just see it for what it is. They're tools. You know, no good, no bad, just tools. That's what I would like.
Welcome to Western Window. I am here with Western alumnus Chris Isenberg, who is representing the class of 1988. He is also the Senior Vice President of Supply Chain, Global Supply Chain, and Procurement with Halyard Health, which is a spinoff subsidiary of Kimberly Clark. So Chris, thank you so very much for being here.
Thank you very much for having me.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's really great having you back to campus. So since you've been back on campus today, what have you done so far?
It was great. I had a chance to start the day at Tony's Coffee, so I was here a little bit early and I had a chance to start there. Just looking around campus, seeing some of the places where my wife Sharon and I lived when we were both going to school here, and then had a chance to look at some of the new statue exhibits on campus.
Oh, the different art on campus.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah. So did you meet Cher here?
We did, yes. We met in Mathis Hall.
Oh, wow.
Married 26 years now.
Holy cow, congratulations.
Thank you.
Good. So supply chain management, for those who don't understand what supply chain management may be and what procurement is, could you explain a little bit?
Of course. So any company that's product-based, so Halyard Health, we do things like prevent infection, speed recovery, and eliminate pain. There's products that go with each of those concepts. And so supply chain in our terms means everything from procuring the raw materials for those products, the manufacturing of those products, and then delivery to our customers is a supply chain.
So from beginning to end?
From beginning to end.
Okay.
Yep.
And your role is overseeing that from beginning to end?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And how many people do you have working?
13,000 globally.
So you have 13,000 people working under you.
That's correct.
From your office in Georgia.
Yes.
All right. And I bet you do a little bit of travel around.
I
the
do,
world too.
in fact, yeah. We have manufacturing locations in Honduras, Mexico, the U.S., Thailand, and then we have contract manufacturers in China, Malaysia, Vietnam, and then supply chain offices in Japan, Australia, Singapore, and Belgium, and then a distribution center in South Africa. So all over the world.
So we got just a few airline miles.
Yeah,
that's right.
correct.
Well, good. Well, it's really great to have you back on campus. So since you've been here, you had some coffee.
Yeah.
Gotten your tour. I think you're going to be talking to some students today as well.
In fact, I'm going to attend one of the seminar courses in Liberal Studies program this afternoon, which will be a wonderful experience.
Yeah, especially since you got your degree in Liberal Studies.
Right.
You get to go back and sit in the class. You know, it's interesting. I've heard some people say, not all people.
Yeah.
I've heard some people say that a degree in the humanities or liberal arts, liberal studies as well, is a waste of time. What would you say to somebody, as somebody who is a successful businessman and leader?
Sure. What
would you say to somebody who would say something like that?
Yeah, start with the fact that I believe that any person that's going to be successful over time has a growth mindset. And so people who believe that a fixed mind, so you're as intelligent as you're ever going to be, I think is very limiting. And my own perspective is that people who gravitate towards the humanities tend to think of lifelong learning. And that is something that's that curiosity, that level of engagement in the world around them, the ability to understand what other people believe, particularly in international business, that's a big deal. The ability to manage ambiguity as a business person. We talk about risk management, but really it comes down to, if we took a certain course of action and these things were risks, how would we manage that? And being comfortable with that ambiguity, that's an important part of being an international business person. Again, in my opinion, the people that will be successful are those that really are constantly thinking about what are the important things today, that level of curiosity. Even in the last 5 to 10 years, the jobs, if you look at it from, the careers that people can pursue, we're not really sure what the jobs are going to be 5 years from now. Right. That's an evolving state.
So Everett gave you their Corporate Executive of the Year award in 2010. You've also been you've got the Inspirational Leadership Award at Kimberly Clark. Red Cross of Snohomish County calls you a real hero. Also, the Association of Western Pulp and Paper Workers called you the Mill Manager of the Year. The list goes on. You've really overseen an awful lot of people. You've received a lot of awards. Obviously, you're very well respected as a leader. What would you say to students who are here at Western who are looking at going out into the world as a leader?
I would say, first of all, that concept of lifelong learning. I would say my opinion is that being a good listener is probably more important than being a good speaker. I'm never going to overwhelm anybody with my ability to project a concept. I feel like I'm pretty good at listening, knowing what the right questions are. And I think the final thing I'd add is that, and it's a quote I read just recently, that becoming is more important than being. That thought that you're constantly working on self-improvement. So every interaction that I have, from a work perspective or even in my personal life, I like to cycle, so I still race bikes. I'm constantly looking for feedback on what I could do different and better to improve either that interaction or that outcome. And I think people that demonstrate that comfort with themselves to be going into any circumstance with what can I learn from it versus not always what do I need to bring to it, to me is just a very healthy way to go about things. And then the final thing I'd add is living your life, whatever that life path takes you, in a powerful way. Really seeing yourself as controlling more than you don't control, and living in a way where you feel comfortable with all the decisions and the results that occur from that. I would say that my own experience, and I've had opportunity to visit other college campuses, that sense of connection to individual students is very strong at Western. Professors here want to know their students, not just 400-person classrooms. And I think that sense comes through a lot more strongly at Western than maybe other choices. It's hard to look past the beauty of this region. It's a fantastic place. The size is such that it's manageable. As a person who's becoming an adult and living outside of the house for the first time, that's a big deal, And I think that on all of those areas, Western is really top-notch.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Chris Isenberg, class of 1988 from Western Washington University, who is the Senior Vice President of Global Supply Chain and Procurement at Halyard Health, which is a spinoff of Kimberly Clark. Have fun mountain biking Galbraith Mountain today.
Right on.
By the way. Yeah, that's really great. Thank you so much.
Chris. Yes.
Really nice meeting you.
And you.
All right.
Thanks.
Finals week can often be a busy and difficult time for students, but a program called WesternCares offers a series of events that encourage students to relax, de-stress, and help each other.
This is Sophie.
This is Smokey.
This is my dog, Ducky.
This is my therapy dog, Arizona.
This is my dog, Bridger.
This is Thomas. This is Danny Boy.
This is Lucas. Pongo's 10, and we're here with Whatcom Therapy Dogs visiting Western during Dead and Finals Week.
The purpose of therapy pets is just to let the love that they have be shared with other people.
I get when I'm here is that people really appreciate and enjoy it. People that I watch here come who've either just had a test and they're really stressed from taking it, or they're getting ready to take a test and they're really stressed. It helps to sit here for a few minutes and just think about something else. And dogs are a good mechanism for doing that.
They have done scientific studies to where when you pet a dog, especially when you're going through stress, it does lower your blood pressure, it lowers your cortisol levels, it just helps you relax. So that brings a calming effect to people. But in the reverse too, when a dog is maybe a little stressed, petting them helps them. So it's kind of a dual relationship there.
I think there is a component in the dog they have to have from birth, and that is the spirit and the personality to become a therapy dog, which is basically calm and submissive.
Smokey has the perfect temperament to be a therapy cat, and not very many cats do. And it's very rare for there to be therapy cats at all, because not very many of them can qualify. He's really well socialized, so people, animals, he doesn't get scared of pretty much anything. He loves to ride in the car. He's really calm, and he knows that if he just sits here, he's going to get all the pets that he wants. So he's got that figured out. They started the therapy dog thing here while I was doing my master's degree. There was no cats, but plenty of cat people, of course. It would be great to get more cats into this, so if you think that you have a cat that would be okay with this, they don't necessarily have to be harness trained even. Smokey is harness trained, but we don't really use it when we're visiting. Almost more importantly is just to hang out in one spot and be okay with that.
So if you had a pet and you wanted to do
this kind of work where you wanted to go once a week to a nursing home, you could go through the pet partner process, which is very simple. It's a one-day class, and we put you through a test, and you either pass or fail. If you pass, you get your vest and insurance and ID, and you get help finding facilities that you'd like to go to.
You know, the people that are registered need to be people that are supporting their dog at all times while they're on site.
It's a very remarkable tool for opening up and building rapport and calming nerves, lowering anxiety, connecting people in the group. You know, like the kids here have been talking about where they're from and the dogs they have, and some of them are freshmen and they don't know anyone. You know, it's just a great tool.
You know, we love to have our dogs go and see people because these dogs are particularly bred to make people feel good and to be a quiet, gentle dog. So we think that it's a good thing for people to see that full-grown big dogs can be well behaved. They give a lot of comfort. They sense when people are upset. They calm people down. They just make everybody's day better.
There's a dog here. I want to pet this dog. I want to interact with this dog. It's, you know, I can forget about, you know, all the homework or all the assignments or all the presentations or papers that I need to do and just be like, for 10 minutes, I'm going to love this dog. Yes, I am.
One of the things that I found is that coming here and hearing the students be so grateful. I don't know that there's anybody that hasn't said thank you for bringing your dog. That what it does for me is reminds me that that people are appreciative. It gives me that boost that people do care about him being here and he loves it. But it's just that whole idea that we do these things together to help each other. And if this can make it a little bit easier, I remember finals. It's nice to know that you can get that little bit of love and attention no matter what.
That's it for this episode of Western Window.
Be sure to tune in next time as we explore the world at and around Western Washington University.
Western Window is proud to partner with the following student publications. Clipson magazine is published twice each quarter and includes features, multimedia, and issues that affect lives across the greater Bellingham area. You can find it online at clipsonmagazine.com. The Western Front is the official newspaper of Western Washington University, published by the Student Publications Council and funded by your advertising dollars. The Western Front. Get it first, get it right, at westernfrontonline.net. The Planet is Western Washington University's award-winning quarterly environmental publication and the only undergraduate environmental magazine in the United States. Explore The Planet online at planet.wwu.edu.